Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in once again to the Duval Dive. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, a student of the game of Fans First Sports Network.
And I'm Travis Holmes with BigCatCountry.com. Let's go.
And listen, always an incredibly special time when we have the handsome, the obviously been to the gym, well-built Jamal St. Cyr. And listen, I know we always talk about your gym rattiness and the way you hit it at the gym, but you obviously have been working some cardio lately, taking that victory lap over Bayshall Tootin. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, Jamal.
Well, now I just need him to get to running the ball, but I'll take the victory lap for now. I hate cardio, though. That's not my thing. Not at all.
Apparently, you better get used to it if you're going to keep calling picks right like that.
I just need Gladstone to leak them to me, and then I'll just pretend.
That's right. What's the line?
But this is also funny because this is the man that says he hates cardio, but I see him like every 3 months having a race against Marcel. So that's always interesting.
Well, see, Marcel's a different cat. He'll get himself in trouble talking that smack a little bit too. That's another thing too. Like I find it funny a dude that hates cardio. Listen, what is it the guy said? Pat Summerall said it in the movie The Replacements. It was John Madden. Don't do anything great if you can't handle the congratulations.
Classic. That's my favorite football movie. And it's not close. That's my favorite.
Let's go. Listen, by the way, we're going to be talking about favorites, non-favorites, all of it going crazy all over the place. We're going to rank the position groups here amongst your Jacksonville Jaguars. And keep in mind, this doesn't mean that we think that they're going to necessarily fail or not, or do great, or be great, or any of this. This is just who we think is the best position group heading into training camp. Doesn't mean they can't improve. Doesn't mean our minds can't be changed. Who knows? But there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And, of course, we're going to be doing it from our least favorite to our most favorite in particular. And let's come out the gate. Number 10 among the position groups is who we're going to start with. And, guys, I'm going to go right out with it. I'm going to be this guy. I'm going to lead it. Why am I going to lead it? That's a great question, Jamal. You're the guest. Normally the guest goes first, but mine's going to be predictable because I've been public as hell about it. I got the linebackers at 10. As much as I talk about Foye Oluokun being the most underappreciated, underrated Jaguar, that linebacker core, I have questions. Do I like their acquisitions? Generally speaking, yes. You know, I don't know what they've made new acquisitions both in draft and in free agency, by the way. I don't know if McLeod's going to count, if Jalen McLeod's going to count as a linebacker or not in all of this mess. I don't know, but I have the linebackers at 10 myself. Jamal, what say you?
You got the linebackers at 10?
I do.
Really?
I listen.
Kyle.
No one says you have to like it. That's just where I live.
Kyle, how? I mean, look, do you just hate Foye?
See, first of all, sir, that hurts because I'm
just trying to figure out where, I'm just trying to figure it out here because 10 is like mighty low for linebacker. Like you have linebacker ahead of tight end, Kyle.
I do because at the end of the day, well, you might think it's strange that I did that, but I'll put it this way: for what they need to provide for that defense versus the tight ends are going to be, you need less from them anyway. I think they'll be more, and I'm going to air quote, potential adverse impact. We still don't know anything about Muma. Devin Lloyd is the biggest mystery on the planet. If you believe Pro Football Focus, he's God. We've seen enough to not really think that's the case. What they're doing just makes me unsure. I love Jack Kaiser. He's not going to be a factor for a while because of Foye the Great. And I have to call him that now just to temper you thinking I hate Foye, bro. Come on. Don't be throwing that slander on this show. Why don't you just tell me I hate Christian Kirk while you're at it? Good God. Anyway, but I have the linebackers. No, then counterpoint me, sir. What do you have at 10?
I have the tight ends at 10.
That's fair. I mean, you know what that is.
Look, what has Hunter Long done in his NFL career? Besides, he was on the team with Sean McVay. I'll wait if you can find something for me. Johnny Munt wasn't exactly spectacular with the Minnesota Vikings. We're not saying, ooh, potential. If Brenton Strange stubs his toe right now, and has to miss the first game of the season, we're looking at each other saying, what are they going to do at tight end? Now, I understand, look, tight end might not be the most important position on the offense, but at the end of the day, it is still a weakness is a weakness, sir. Like, that's what I got at 10. I got tight end.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. Travis.
I'm going safety. And you know how I feel. You know how I feel about Eric Murray. You know how I feel about the potential of the safety room. But we're not talking about potential, because I'm the same person that says I hate the word potential. I need to see it. And unfortunately, I haven't seen what Caleb Ransall is going to be. And he's, again, a third-round draft pick. All right. So maybe that'll hit. Maybe that won't. That's also a draft time. That's a time of the draft where you kind of might start getting into that coin flip territory of whether these guys are going to hit or not, and we won't know until a year or two from now. That's potentially the case. So I'm kind of going to have to say we're talking about Darnell Savage, we're talking about Eric Murray, and the addition of what I consider a coin flip with Caleb Ransall, and you're comparing that to the rest of the NFL. Oh yeah, this is an easy conversation for me. That's absolutely 10 on my list.
See, I mean, I don't even know what to do with that. You bring in these veterans. At least with the tight ends, I saw your concern. Granted, what most of they're going to be asked, what they're going to ask to do is block. The whole reason Evan Ingram left. We had a very long and intelligent conversations about this with, by the way, former Florida Gator Ben Troop and former Titan. We have to mention it, but this is a Jag show. I get it. So I'm not that mad at you for saying tight end, Jamal, because what will extend this conversation and how much I respect your pick is tell you that at number 9, I have tight end. So, I mean, come on, man.
Then I will get, if that's the case, I will go ahead.
I feel like with you with safety, I feel like you're looking at it because the ceiling's low, where I wasn't looking at it as the ceiling was low, because I feel like a lot of those guys are kind of, I mean, you know what you're going to get from Dewey. Like, you kind of know what you're going to get from Savage. You know what you're going to get from Murray. While they may not be superstar caliber, like, you're not – there's going to be a good safety that gets cut is the way I was looking at it. I wasn't looking at it saying, okay, like, oh, here's potential. I looked at it and said, okay, if here's a good safety. Like, Daniel Thomas is in the safety room, but, I mean, his impact's on special teams.
Yeah.
So, like, he has a role and he's fighting for a job. Antonio Johnson has potential and could do things maybe in a right situation, but he's kind of on the bubble. So that's how I think you're looking at safety, saying, okay, these starters aren't spectacular. We don't have a guy who I feel really good or know what I'm going to get. Where I think me and Kyle, maybe if Kyle has them a little bit higher like I do, I was looking at it saying, well, the floor in that room is really high compared to some of the other ones, even if the ceiling's not as high as some of the others. That's how I saw it, because that's what I look at Eric Murray as, is like, he's not going to be.
He's a floor raiser.
Yeah, he's a floor raiser. He's not going to be Earl Thomas or Ed Reed back there, but he's also not going to blow coverages. So, like, balance.
So someone on this show has said the same thing about Dewey Wingard too. Let me be clear, right, Travis?
Okay, so if we're going to reassess how I'm looking at it, if I want to change how I'm looking at it in that way, this becomes a different conversation, because to your original point, there is very limited depth, or you may even argue that there's no depth behind Brenton Strange, and that might be a rightful argument. But also, there is at least some level of depth behind Eric Murray, behind Darnell Savage, because you do have the third guy in the equation. So I'll give you that overall. And so if that makes me end up becoming the tiebreaker and then we have to go with the tight end room, I'm fine with that. I just do see an outcome in this upcoming season, in this 2025 season, where Brenton Strange ends up being the best tight end in the AFC South. Like, I'm not saying in the NFL or anything crazy. Just, I mean, I just dropped the ranking of the best position groups in the AFC South on BigCatCountry.com early today. So that's where my mind is. I literally did have to go through that whole thought process of figuring out who's the best, and I think he's like legitimately right there with Tyler Warren. Mm-hmm. So I see that outcome being a potential, but I agree with your assessment that Hunter Long, that Johnny Munt, You just don't know what you're getting there. And that can be scary. So I'll agree with you guys. Tight end at 10. If you are, I mean, I think that makes two of us at that point, right, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, it's you two at 10. I have tight end at 9. That's fine. I would also bring up Raywan Lane as somebody who may have Daniel Thomas in a position to then be able to elevate and play more safety because he's going to come in and be that special teams ace. I know that Travis has been well remarked on Twitter talking about his special teams role in the American Athletic Conference. So, yeah, there's that.
Okay.
And actually, and listen, Hef seems to agree with you and Jamal.
Like there's an agreement.
And again, I don't dislike that placement. I didn't do that myself. I have to be consistent with what I've said in the past. And I am perfectly happy to, if anybody is going to be giving credence to dunk on me, you know who it should be? It should be Foye Oluokun. That's how I feel about that. If Foye wants to dunk on me for making a mistake, I will sit there and take it like a man, like he takes questions when games don't go the way the Jags want. I am willing to give him back that nobility because he's earned it. There you go. How you like that, Ferguson? Anyways, Jamal, who you got at 9, brother?
At 9, I actually got the O-line.
Wow.
I had the big boys there. I got them real low. I mean, think about it. They're bringing in a bunch of guys that were fighting for jobs. I mean, we're talking highly about Patrick McCarry. He was a kind of rotational piece, injury fill-in for the Ravens. While I think he'll be good for the Jaguars and help solidify things, I mean, he doesn't even have the resume that Brandon Sheriff had when he came. Ryan Hainsey was on the bench last year. Then you also bring in a rookie in Wyatt Milam. We'll see if he can unseat Ezra Cleveland. I mean, your coach just called out Anton Harrison as clearly as possible during the end of OTA, saying the guy can go when he wants to. And then it's Walker Little's first time at left tackle. I got the O-line.
Okay. Is it his first time at left tackle? Didn't he fill in for Cam?
This is his first time going into a season.
Okay,
he's filled in. First time going into a season.
To clarify, that's all. You know, I know you know, but that's for the people at home, Jamal. Just for clarity, this isn't me dissing you. Let me be clear. You've already dissed me enough by completely crapping on the offensive line. I ain't trying to do that kind of crime to you. You know, I mean, I was already harsh on the ally of the offensive line and the tight ends, but you're just gonna go right to work on my guys, and that's okay. By the way, show them your hat just so you can show how much you're fronting right now.
Hey, shout out to my guys at Dome Hats. This is my favorite hat. I support local O-line coaches. Come on now.
Oh, man.
By the way, what better way to plug the hat than to mark them at 9? Travis, who you got at 9, buddy?
That O-line becomes a more difficult conversation. Like I don't think that I want to go with the O-line just because I think that because of all the quote unquote versatility that they've been leaning into this offseason, I also think the floor of the O-line has the potential of being raised. I don't know if it's going to be the case, but I think
raised.
That potential does exist. And because of the amount of guys they have that's able to compete at multiple roles, that you then just, even by pure luck, you just have the opportunity to have these guys land where maybe McCarry's not your right guard. Cool. Well, then maybe he can compete at one of the tackle spots. All right, cool. Well, we still have options. Or he can even play center if you need him to. Like however that lands, adding Ezra Cleveland to the conversation, I still feel like the floor of that group has been raised, similar to our safety conversation, if that's going to be the case. And so I'm feeling like if I'm just being consistent in my evaluation, then I would have to then also say I think the O-line is probably going to be just a slightly higher on my list. But then that's probably when I'm getting into that cornerback conversation. I don't want to say it. I don't know what they're going to do with Travis, and that's the kicker. Like, again, that cornerback room can be literally the best freaking room. That'd be crazy. I can't say the NFL, but I can say like a top, like maybe third, fourth of the NFL unit.
Let's just say
they could absolutely be that.
Yeah,
and they could absolutely be the bottom 5 in the league. And I frankly don't know. Like, Tyson Campbell gets hurt. What are you looking at? You got Jarian Jones on the outside, who we don't know what that's going to look like just yet. We got Jordan Lewis, who's seems to be really good, but also seems to be really good as a slot guy who can play some outside, but we've never seen him as a full-time outside corner role. Just a lot of questions there overall. So at that point, you may even be seeing Travis Hunter playing full-time corner reps, which doesn't seem to be what they necessarily want him to do, but maybe he'll be able to do it. It's just a lot of questions in that piece of it. And again, that ceiling's high, but I don't know where that floor lies. I don't even know if it exists at this current moment in time. It might be non-existent.
So, but who do you have at 9?
Corner.
Wow, he's going waist deep with that take. I listen, I respect you. You're going to be really surprised that I don't have them at 9 and how far away from 9 I have them. But okay. So it's corner at 9. That's interesting. By the way, have thrown me a bone. 9 for linebacker. There you go. And yeah,
I just think it's a wide range of outcomes, and that's really where my problem lies.
Well, and that's what makes this is what makes this particular episode compelling, gentlemen. Let's be clear. There is a lot of question marks at particular pieces. But listen, I'll throw Travis a bone here. As cruel as I've been to open, I have done what I believe a good host does. Take the hits for the other people to start with by saying the unpopular thing, and now reel it in. I've justified Jamal's tight end hate. And now I'm going to support Travis by putting safety as my number 8. Jamal, who you got?
At 8?
Yeah.
Or are we still talking 9?
You gave us.
I got corner at 8. So I was never that far from Travis.
Yeah. So we have to come to agreement on whatever 9's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be with Travis for corner at 9. I got corner at 8, so I'm not far from you at all. You're
taking votes. I see what you're doing. Well, I mean, if we're doing it that way, if you put linebacker at 9, I'll feel sated. I know Hef has it, but you're going to put corner, huh? This is what we're doing?
Well, it's 2-1. That's all I can know. And I'm the cornerback specialist, so I'm just going with 9.
Oh, so you're leaning into your bias, which will make you as wrong as possible.
I'm like James Gladstone. I am uniquely positioned to take on this challenge of evaluating this Jacksonville Jaguars cornerback group.
You know how else you're Jimmy Stones there, Travis? You said to me, F your picks. That's right.
That's right.
Oh, man.
All right, let's get back to 8. I'm sorry.
Tight end at 10, cornerback at 9, and we are now evaluating how we feel about that 8th spot. The 8th, we'll call it most worrisome position group.
I'll say this. Jamal, I could meet you with the tight ends at 10. You're all going to hate what I have later on in my list for corner then, if you're going to put 9 and be okay with it. I'm just saying.
How high do you have corner?
Not at 9. I know that. Anyways,
I love it.
But let's kick off the number 8 spot. Like I've left enough suspense. I think I've done enough teasing. Travis, what you got at 8, man?
Oh, at 8. Then I'm going now. I think I can finally go with the safety room. Let's just say I have questions on the whole. Let's just say I have questions on the whole secondary because I mean safety and corner. I'm basically putting these guys at your bottom 3 units. Yeah, I got questions on questions on questions. So. We already had the conversation surrounding the safety room. I'm there as far as that 8th spot. Like I need to understand what the plan is going to be. I mean, are you going to be a 3 safety team like the Houston? Are you going to be a 2 safety team and just go heavy cornerbacks? If these guys do you even know what it's going to be until you get these guys in pads on the grass? What is this? Just want to see it.
Jamal?
I mean, I think you're going to lock Eric Murray in as a starter in one spot, and I think they're going to give Ransall every shot to earn that starting job. I'm not going to argue with you too much because, I mean, we're getting close to the range where I got safety at in this tier. So, I mean, if you want to go safety at 8, I wouldn't knock it. I mentioned I had corner at 8 here. So, I mean, the only one that I've gone so far that's on the board is O-line, which I could repitch that. I did want to mention, you were talking corner earlier. I do think Travis Hunter's going to play a ton of corner, dude. I really do. I think he's going to play a ton of corner and a ton on both sides.
Give me what your rank because my evaluation of what a ton is like 50% of snaps, but I'm like, is that low in your
I think we're talking low, man. I think he ends up playing something like I mean, maybe 80% on offense and somewhere in the neighborhood. I mean, north of 50, 60 to 70 on defense, something like that. I think he's going to play a ton of snaps.
Travis, if you're listening,
I think they're gonna try and play him. Now, if he gets banged up, that changes things. But I think they're gonna try.
I get that there's an element of on paper with this ranking, but Travis Hunter, if you're listening, I can't just say Travis because you're here, my guy champion. But Travis Hunter, if you're listening, keep that butt in shape because Jamal thinks you're playing a lot. Just gonna throw that out there. I will solidify safety at 8 because that's exactly what I have as well. So if Travis D. Holmes and I agree, how can you say no, Jamal? I mean,
I'm good with that.
Love it.
I'm good with that. Look, I think we're at that point where it's time to put the safeties on the board.
Yeah,
we saved them out of 10, but we couldn't get them past 8.
I mean, especially when Travis on our safety tiers episode that happened a couple weeks back here in this back in June, actually, it took place, said that there was all this potential that they could possibly be the best safety group in the league. And it comes out swinging at 10. It's just weird, but that's okay.
The best safety group in the league.
Man. Oh man, there you go. Hef.
Wow.
Hef says running back at 8. Sorry, top 2 running backs have glaring deficiencies on third down and any early down passing.
So apparently he doesn't care about your victory lap, Jamal, is what I'm hearing. And Hef, he's just disrespecting your logic.
Running back next on my list.
Woo!
Hef's not wrong. He's
apparently
not wrong. Running back literally next.
I think
in shooting range.
By the end of this episode, I feel like both you two are going to take my ball knower card. I'm very worried right now.
Dude, I love the fact that we have intelligent commenters, man. Like, I like the fact that these dudes are locked in. Like, it's not to say we don't get these wild comments out the paint every so often, but for the most part, man, these guys are locked in and they know ball.
Yeah, but
I think Hef's right on target with it, man. Like, we don't know. Travis has been banged up. We don't know if ETN's gonna be able to stay healthy for you. He's not a great pass catcher, not a great pass blocker. Tank, not a great pass catcher, not a great pass blocker. Can he take hold of the reins? And you see those kind of moments develop from him. And then you got 2 rookies. And while I think Tootin will be good, I've also said I think this is going to end up being a redshirt year for him. I don't know that he's going to play a ton this year. I think LaQuint Allen's the rookie that's got a better shot at playing. But, I mean, he was a 7th-round pick. Like, how much – like, again, a guy I liked in the draft, and I think he can play a role in the offense, but still was a 7th-round draft pick. So, when you look at the running back room like that, you're like
I mean, it's about fit, though, Jamal, and I think that's what it is with LaQuint Allen. I mean, you listen, by the way, I like you coming here off the top rope and validating me because, an egomaniac like myself enjoys validation. I'll say what it is. So, like, when you come in...
I can fully understand the take on LaQuint Allen because it's like if you're talking to somebody who's outside of the city of Jacksonville and you told them, hey, man, LaQuint Allen's going to get all these snaps. LaQuint Allen's going to get 40% of snaps, and they'd be looking at you like, you accept like you just told them Miles Cole was gonna be your starting defensive like the defensive end or something like that. Like it feels like a hot take, if you know what I mean, from anybody who's outside of the county. So I get the overall point though.
So
from maybe Syracuse.
If we're talking 7 now, I'm gonna do it, and it hurts me. This is where I have the O-line because Travis. Back in the day of the original Student of the Game podcast, if I might quote my best friend of 40 years, no, quite literally, Jamal, I've known this dude 4 decades. We were in first grade together. We were at the same elementary school and kindergarten. This is a thing that happened. It's the offensive line at 7. There's just too much. My friend Chris Rankin says potential means you could be good, but right now you suck. Now, granted, I don't exactly agree with that definition, but potential isn't enough to bank on. So, but that's why the O-line at 7 is because so much of their basis is at 7. And let's be honest, the reason why Trevor is in the position to be criticized as harshly as possible by those that don't watch games like Emmanuel Acho is because they haven't produced for him. I mean, listen, the other, you're soon to hear a comment I made to Believe in Rams host Tyler Dragon here on the Duval Dive. We will talk to them. You'll see that on Friday if you haven't already seen the promo come up on Twitter, or excuse me, on YouTube. But I mentioned the offensive line with the very fair criticisms he had of Trevor, and there was no retort from that particular point. That's all I'll say. It's the O-line. It's the O-line has done so much damage. They've gotten Trevor particularly hurt at times, and him having to come off the field the way he did got people out there talking about how the fact that the Jags don't even own a golf cart because, they didn't come to get Trevor with it. He refused the golf cart, let's be clear. But nonetheless, the O-line made all – I'm joking.
So you have O-line at 7.
I do.
I'll go last. I'm going personal last too. Jamal, how do you feel about that?
Hey, I'm jumping on him. I had O-line at 9. I think the O-line to me is the same conversation that we were having at safety. There's not a whole lot of guys that have those super high ceilings where you're like, oh man, by the end of the year, we're going to be talking about this guy as elite. You got a whole lot of guys where you say they're pretty average. So, I mean, the floor is decent, so I don't think it's the bottom like we were talking about with tight end. Once you get past one guy, the bottom falls out. It's not like that. But I just don't – there's none of those guys where you say, all right, it's 4th and 1. I need 1 yard to win the freaking game and win the AFC South. Who are you going behind? Who's clearing it out? I don't know. They're all versatile. No, 4th and 1. Who are you going behind?
People are going to hate my answer to that question right now. I'll say that because I'll be honest. My answer is Ezra Cleveland. Who you going? I'm going behind Ezra Cleveland. I'm doing it. Now, granted,
I wouldn't do that. Cleveland and Walker Little. Ezra Cleveland and Walker Little. Yes, that left side.
I wouldn't do that if Jeffrey Simmons is on the field. But otherwise, I have Ezra. Come on, there's nuance to these things. It's football, Jamal.
So help is an agreement. Run behind Walker and Cleveland.
I mean, he's not wrong. I would have.
That's their best run blockers.
Yeah, I mean
that is, but we're also talking about Ezra having to fight for his starting job. So I think that tells you where we're at. Because you got a rookie, again, another guy who not a first round pick, not guaranteed to start, but Wyatt Milam walking in the door, applying pressure, trying to come get that job.
I think that says more about Wyatt Milam than it does about Ezra Cleveland, if I can be honest.
I ain't lying. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I think it says something about both of them.
No, it don't. No, it don't. Yeah, I agree, Jamal. No, it don't. If you got a guy that's moving from tackle to guard, like tackle in college to guard, whose first time you've seen him play guard was at the Senior Bowl, which he struggled at in the Senior Bowl, and you're saying he's going to come in and supplant the guy who you already just signed to a contract last year. That to me says a lot about the guy we're talking about.
So wait, here's what I'm confused about that statement. It's I don't know. Wait a minute. Suddenly Wyatt Milam's I thought he was supposed to be the guard opposite Ezra.
Oh, you're talking about
left guard.
So you're talking about right guard. You're talking about with Makari. Is that correct?
No. Well, okay, so you're saying we're talking about Milam. We're talking about, I'll just say Wyatt because I don't know if it's Milam or Milam at this point, but
Milam.
It is. I did have it right. See, thank you for validating me again, Jamal. But I don't, my man. If Milam's coming in, I'm more inclined to put him on the right side than I am to have him because Ezra Cleveland's the dude. Granted, I'll add when healthy because there was that issue there too. But he's the guy that I've seen most been remarked as being. And actually Hef says it in a way that I am, but he's basically what I'm saying. He's more than likely, red-shirted. I maybe because I'm with you. I think Makari has the right side. But hey, listen, I love this. I love that this is the problem we're having on the interior line for once, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you have two opportunities. You have two opportunities between Jonah Monheim and Wyatt Milam to potentially have one of these guys or both of these guys end up being like legitimate practice squad opportunity, like practice squad guys who you can maybe develop for a year if you can find a way to stash them, or they can end up being starting, caliber guys. In Milam, goodness gracious, in Jonah Monheim situation, more likely than not, your backup center is where he's going to land. But yeah, I agree with you guys as far as the O-line. Like, if we're in that range, whether it's 7 or 6, again, I might have had him at 6, whatever. That doesn't change anything for me overall. Like, so I think we're generally in agreement, all three of us. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
O-line at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm down with it.
I have it that way on my paper. How can I say no at this point?
But now I think I don't want to be first, but now I just will say I think we are talking.
I'm going to say it. I'll be the villain, Travis.
It's running backs. Yeah.
Well, no, I got the core being the issue. I have quarterback at 6.
Okay.
Okay.
You got quarterback at 6.
Because if Trevor gets hurt, the season's over. Right? I mean, this isn't a situation where it's Joe Montana and Steve Young. This isn't happening here. This isn't even, in my opinion, Patrick LaVon Mahomes II and Chad Henne. Okay? Like,
is his middle name LaVon?
Correct. Just like it's Lamar Demetrius Jackson. You have to earn middle name treatment, but once you do, I learn it.
But that's the core of the quarterback position in general. Like, if their starting quarterback gets hurt, for the most part, you're done. Like, I think that's reasonably what that's going to be. So I can't really knock the quarterback position simply because of that and only that. If that makes sense, I would need another argument.
I chose to do it. Like, I apologize that I forget this dude's name. It's not Huntley, is it? But the dude that was backing up Lamar Demetrius Jackson, where they were still making the playoffs when Jackson got hurt.
Dang it! The other black quarterback, I forget his name. Was Snoop? Was it
Tyler Huntley? Snoop.
It is Huntley. I got it right.
Snoop. Yeah,
there you go.
Again, Jamal, you might be my personal champion, Travis, but tonight Jamal has my support. Hey, you got my back, dog. That's what's up. But yeah, so
I knew the nickname. I forgot the man government name. Don't judge me.
I think Huntley, like, we definitely don't have a Huntley Jackson situation. And listen, maybe I'm pulling a little bit too much from the school of Jimmy Johnson, where your most important player is your quarterback and your second most important player is your backup quarterback. But that's why I have the quarterback room at 6. I'm more than happy to be called wrong. That's just how I did it.
Well, is that where you have it with the reshuffling of how we've already, like, the guys we've already taken off the board? Like, obviously, tight end's gone, cornerback's gone, safety and O-line are already gone. I just want to make sure we're on agreement.
I'm looking at my paper, and I have 6.
Quarterback at 6.
Yes.
Jeez, bro. That's, you want a hot take. That's hot. That's scorching on this team, at least. Because that's one of my, I can't say he's not a question. I mean, he's absolutely, Trevor Lawrence is absolutely a question. He's in the last 2 seasons on IR. And yeah, man got paid. So
the comments are burning me too, and it's okay. It's allowed.
At the end of the day, I'm all in on running back at this point, because again, we've already had the conversation for a full calendar year talking about pass protection. We've talked about the fact that we don't even know, like, Tank hasn't shown the ability to catch out of the backfield. If you want to add that to the pass catching, pass protection conversation, we don't know what we're going to have from Bashaw Tootin as far as running the ball, learning the offense, all of those things that you just have to do as a rookie, just in general. And we got a 7th round draft pick in LaQuint Allen, and whatever that's going to work itself out to be, whether or not he's gets significant snaps or whether or not he's just a guy on the roster fighting for that room. So overall, yeah, I think running back is absolutely got to be it. And that goes lockstep with that O-line blocking for them, of course. But yeah, that's why I'm at running back, bro. Jamal?
So and I'll add in. Well, let me go to a comment here real quick. Hold on a second. Yeah.
So Hef says, I think Murray and Savage will fit nice. Solid depth between Wingert, Johnson, Thomas, and potential from Ransaw. So Hef has his own ranking where he has the safety position at 6. Yeah. And Lobby Wellner in the comments says he doesn't think Balky's contracts will play into who on the O-line sees the field. Cohen likes maulers. Well, me and Cohen got that in common. God Thank you.
Apparently
Thank you,
not, because he's the one that brought in all these centers you hate so much. So no, I don't want to hear that noise.
But again, he's also a guy who's trying to raise the floor. So he brought in Robert Hainsey, but he also brought in that's a guy who is going to be, at minimum, what he is, because you've already seen him in Tampa Bay. You saw how he even played in a position where he lost his role and still kind of mentored the guy behind him. Well, in front of him, I should say. So what you have in a leadership capacity when you're starting a new regime in Jacksonville. So at minimum, it makes sense that he would bring in someone like a Robert Hainsey and not bring in like the top center option that's available on the market or something along those lines. So I get that too. So overall, again, I'm still leaning running back, but I want to know what Jamal is going to say on that.
Yeah, who you got at 6, Jamal?
I mean, I'd put running back. I'm with you, Travis. I think we've reached that point where that's the next logical position. I got quarterback a little bit higher.
Go ahead and slide the running back into 6, because here's where I tell you that I am absolutely angry and appalled at both of you. How dare you put the running backs at 6? I have them at 5.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think, listen, the reason why I'm okay with the running backs at 6 is because it accounts for the opportunity that they may significantly improve. Listen, again, I notice you're in better shape than you think, Jamal. You're not huffing and puffing after your victory lap. And oh, by the way, on this show, I have very constantly, oh my gosh, somebody supported the QB at 6 take? What's up?
That's Timmy Devil. That's Timmy Devil. Timmy just like to see the world burn.
First of all, listen, he supported you on plenty of world burning takes too, sir. Now that he's got my back, you going, hey, I see what it is. That's okay. I remember what I said to you during our Believe in Rams podcast. You'll have to listen to that if you want to check it out, because I'm not repeating it here. But at number 5, I have the running backs, but if you want to put them at 6, I'm not mad at it. I'll put it that way.
How about quarterback at 5?
Oh, look at this!
So now we're having a quarterback conversation. Let's talk about it. Go ahead, man. What's your take?
Look, I do think I
wonder if we lost Jamal on that one.
We'll pick it up. Who you got at 5 there, Travis?
Well, who do I have at 5?
Yeah.
So if we're talking me, then this is going to be a different conversation, because again, I don't know about quarterback even at 5. I know we have questions that need to be questions that need to be answered. I mean, obviously he's coming off of an injury. He's learning a new offense. There's a boatload of change surrounding just the receiver core, just surrounding learning where his footwork is going to go, learning just all of it. They're going from that Doug Peterson offense. So I get why that we might be in that shooting range. Like whether he's at 4 or 5, I think we are having that conversation at least. But I got questions on D-line. So I'm splitting hairs right now between that defensive line room and that quarterback conversation.
I'll give you this much credit. This part of the tier, in my opinion, felt really crowded.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's where I'm leaning right now, because again, I know we have a lot of conversations and questions on that linebacker room because we don't know how the staff actually feels about Devin Lloyd. I know we got questions on that defensive line room, not necessarily the edges themselves, but the actual defensive tackles in Armstead, who obviously has a natural out in his contract after this year. We don't know what Mason Smith's going to be necessarily. Like I know seems like he's going to be a good pass rusher, but in the run game, what that's going to look like is still up in the air. Devon Hamilton, is he truly going to be back? Is he going to give you anything in the pass rush game, or is he just going to be your first down guy and take him off the field? What is that? And for a staff that wants to lean into the younger guys, maybe even the rookies, and they don't have any rookie defensive tackles on the team other than undrafted guys, then what is that going to look like? Are you just going to give Mason Smith the reps and then Devon Hamilton gone? Like, there's a boatload of questions in all 3 of those spots. And overall, that's why I'm like, quarterback? Okay, that's a tough one. But I want to hear the rest of your take. I need to hear that. I need to hear this. Maybe I can be swayed.
I'd bump D-line up just because, I mean, at this point, with Josh and Trayvon, double-digit sack guys, you feel like, to me, that raises that room up. Look, Trevor, we've seen flickers. I mean, he's the dude, and I'll make the argument all day long about like the supporting staff not being around him consistently. Like Evan Ingram was good, but like not spectacular. Christian Kirk good, not spectacular. The offensive line hasn't done my man any favors, but we've seen the light flicker. And then the injuries really have been the problem over the past couple of years, to where I can't raise him too high past some of these guys like Josh. Josh got some Pro Bowls under his belt. Trayvon got back-to-back 10-sack seasons, and I don't think anybody's looking at those 10-sack seasons like, man, that's the best he's ever going to get. I don't know that he's as good as he could be.
That's a great point, Jamal.
That would raise that D-line room up a little bit. And, I mean, even when we start talking about Eric Armstead, last year was like the worst season of his career.
Yeah.
And the good seasons in his career have vastly outweighed. So I'm willing to point the finger at Ryan Nielsen.
Aren't we all, though?
I'm just saying. I'm willing to point the finger at the guy that was doing hockey shifts.
I think the third person to use the hockey analogy here on the Duval Dive. Travis,
who rotates their corners? Nobody rotates their corners.
61% of the snaps by one Eric Armstead was at defensive end, correct?
Yeah.
61%, bro.
As a Niner fan, I would just look at you and go, what are you thinking? You know.
Okay. And again, I see the arguments, and I will even agree with it, because I mean, you are talking about a defensive end duo that's realistically top, I don't know, 10 in the league, top 5 in the league, maybe even, if you're talking those guys combined. So I absolutely understand and then maybe even agree with it. That the edge pushes them up.
That's a good point.
Fair. We got Jalen McLeod, who may be some stack linebacker, who may be some edge. You got you have a few options.
Been productive in his career, so I mean, adding him, I mean, that's the first time they've had a third edge since Arden Key left. I mean, that man took the whole city back.
Like, I don't think Jalen McLeod's going to really put his hand in the dirt that much with that going on. Oh, there's
you think he won't? What's going on, man? Man. So all right, so you put quarterback Jamal. I can see the argument. I was wondering where Nash fell on this line. I guess you're going to be our tiebreaker here, sir.
Well, here's the thing. I put QBs at 6.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you put the running backs there.
Then we're already resolved.
Yeah, my running back is 5. So if you just want to flop them, I can pretend to be appalled, but I can live with that.
All right.
I think we already exhausted my pretending to be appalled take with the running backs at 6, didn't we? Like we did this joke already.
We've done a little bit.
And Timmy Devil shout out says quarterback should not make it past 6 or 5. It's 75% Trevor, and the backup quarterback is null and void, which is agreed.
I would have said 85, but okay, cool. I ain't going to argue with Timmy about 10%, especially after he got my back.
Trevor Lawrence has ended the last 2 seasons on injured reserve. Maybe that 75% was accurate. We don't know. We'll see. We might be seeing some Nick Mullins, man. You don't know.
Well, and I'll put it this way. I wrote it up in an article that's going to drop tomorrow on the Fans First Sports Network. I think Josh Hines Allen said it best on Speak on Monday. Trevor can go wherever he wants to be, but then he also cites that the offensive line and running backs need to step their game up. I mean, I think that's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And he might be on the defensive side, but he's a leader of that team. I'm going to give it credence. I'm just saying. Anyways,
so we are starting to get down to that lemon booty phase of the rankings, where we are now. It's going to get a little tight, man. It's going to get a little tight. It's we want to be arguing about semantics and arguing about small differences between this wide receiver, defensive line, linebacker, and special teams room. And you've heard a small bit of my opinion and rant on the D line and linebacker rooms. I don't know how you feel about the receiver room or special teams, but I want to let Nash go first on this one since we've been kind of hogging that.
Well, Kyle had linebacker at 10, like so.
Wow. Shots fired.
I mean, so I think he'd be appalled that they've made it this far.
I mean, listen, I there are plenty of stuff that I let my friends get away with and don't question them. I hold myself to my standards. not my standards to you, because that would just be an awkward place. That's all I'm saying. But all that being said, after all the shade I've just thrown at the great Jamal St. Cyr here, I have D-line at 4. Your fears about the defensive tackle spot do match me. We are going on an awful lot of faith just on the strength of the fact that 2 guys in the front office used to see Eric Armstead twice a year. They happen to be Jimmy Stones and Liam Cohen. So from that standpoint, I give them their credence. And Jamal already mentioned double-digit sacks. Come on. And say what you will about Josh Hines-Allen. He's a leader. Trayvon Walker, I'm pretty sure Travis is going to start sending Christmas cards to his family's house to account for all the first overall draft pick hate that he sent that direction. But yeah, I got the D-line at 4.
Okay. All right. And I'm going linebacker just because we've had the conversations. We have the YouTube short with me discussing how I feel about Devin Lloyd versus how the analytics community may feel about Devin Lloyd. Like, I don't know that he's necessarily going to be here if he plays well or if he plays badly in 2025. I just don't know that he's going to be here next year. If he plays well, it's because there don't seem to be the type of organization that's just going to pay a linebacker big money. And if he plays badly, well, that speaks for itself. So it's kind of like, all right, cool. You don't know what you're going to do there. You have a natural out in Foyer's contract after this season. You got Jack Kaiser, who you just brought in to give you some kind of a leadership. Maybe he's moving into that Foyer type of spot. You got Ventrell behind him, but you got 2 guys who I'm not even 100% sure are going to necessarily be leading this defense, that linebacker group in this next season. I don't know. I just don't know.
See, this is where I get confused with the linebackers being at 4, yet in your analysis, you have more butts than a music video of Cisco singing the thong song. What are we doing right now?
Wait, why would I have the linebackers higher than 4 if I have all those butts?
He wanted them lower.
Exactly why they would be there.
He wanted them lower. He wants them lower, Travis.
That's my point exactly. Yes, I want them lower.
He wants them lower.
I mean, yes, I one could make the joke that I want the butts lower, but that's not what I'm going for.
Well, they have a higher ceiling, and they also have a lot of questions as far as what's going to happen next year. But again, you have to acknowledge the fact that Devin Lloyd could play well and still not be on the roster. That doesn't mean it's not a good pick for 2025. We're ranking this right now. We're ranking this for 2025. And for 2025, I think it's fine in that way. Like, you can move off a guy and he'd still be a good player. The good teams do that sometimes.
We're confused about Lloyd. We're confused about Muma. We're confused about Ventrell. Like, that's
we're confused about it. We're confused about a defense that has a new incoming scheme, a different scheme that we haven't seen in application yet, with a new defensive coordinator in his first year actually calling defensive plays. Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm going to have some questions about the players playing under a bad defensive coordinator in 2024. I think that's just being reasonable.
We'll see, and maybe I'm getting to Jamal's point earlier. Maybe my judgment is clouded by the hockey rotation. That is certainly a possibility. I get that. I'll put that on the table. Yeah, and here comes Timmy with PFF. Get PFF out my face, Timmy. As somebody who is a data professional for a living, they suck at data, period. I'm glad I got to say that again publicly. Jamal, 4. What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I'm linebacker there. Okay. I mean, I'm not as low on the group as you, but I think there's some issues along the way. We don't know what Devin Lloyd is. I think we know at this point that Chad Muma was a missed draft pick. We've seen flashes from Ventrell, but we have no idea if he could sustain, because he never really got the opportunity last year when he started showing growth. They were so deep in that rotation of like, oh, he'll play a couple of snaps and then he'll miss a couple of series. So we really don't know what he can give you. Jalen McLeod, like he was more of an edge in college. He's going to be a little bit of linebacker, maybe a little bit of edge. I'm at linebacker right here. I think I'm with Travis. I like Kaiser. I think Foyer is the brain of the defense, so I like him, and that kind of pushed it up. And I think Devin Lloyd's fine, but I don't think he's nearly as good as what PFF says, because we watch the games, we see the stuff. So I think linebackers 4.
Thank you, Timmy. I appreciate that. And by the way, something I'm on record saying many times is the best ally for a linebacker is a good defensive tackle core. So if the defensive tackle spot which has been deficient since Folaronsu Fatukasi left overall. Like, listen.
Fatukasi never played. He was
That's
always
the problem. That's exactly the problem. Buddy.
Well,
hey,
in those games that he played,
when he was
week
there,
by week,
he was it. He just couldn't keep it. Jamal, the only thing that makes this as funny as your reaction is the fact that I've said literally the same damn thing on this show. It's so great.
And we said that on this show. We've been saying it even in Houston. It's been interesting. It's been happening even in Houston. And the games that he plays in Houston, they generally do well because that's where he's playing now. But they still struggle.
Extra harder stopping the Jags on 3rd and 1.
Right. And even in Houston, where he's playing now, you can say, all right, cool. For Lorenzo Fatukasi, he's healthy this week. Oh, they're probably going to do all right in run stopping. Like you can just stamp it. Like that. And it was the same way in Jacksonville. He was injured often, but when he played, all right, this is going to be a good week for Jacksonville. You just knew it. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's been his brand. It's just health it's played a major role in it, unfortunately.
Now, so for those that heard me say that point about defensive tackle, Kyle, you're just patting yourself in case you look wrong as hell. You're damn right. It's entirely what I'm doing. So with all that in mind, number 3, I'm going to start with Travis.
Now it's getting there. I mean, I think this is easy. I think it's easy. Right. I think this one's easy at least because I think this is where I'm going D-line. I mean, I could make it easier and just tell you automatically what my number 1 is, but it's a better conversation if I just say, hey, I've already crapped on a D-line. I don't know what Mason's going to necessarily be, or if they're just going to have Devon Hamilton as that first down guy, and then just have Mason Smith be your 2nd and 3rd round guy, taking Hamilton off the field. If that ends up being what it is, cool. Hopefully, Mason gets a little stronger at the point of attack, holding his, anchoring and not being pushed off the ball. I mean, heck, even Jordan Jefferson. That's what Timmy Devil's asking right now. Does Jordan Jefferson actually have a shot at being good? I have no idea. We haven't even seen these guys in pads and in this new defense, and we've established this whole hockey rotation thing from 2024. So who the heck knows? We're gonna learn this together, man. So yeah, defensive line is going to be where I'm at right now because I have way less questions on that receiver room, way less questions in special teams. What do you say?
Yeah, Jamal?
I'd go wide receiver at 3.
Ooh, let's talk about it.
Look, I think we know what BT is, but besides that, I mean, we're going to have questions the rest of the way. I mean, Travis Hunter's a rookie. While I think he's going to be spectacular, but I also think he's going to play a lot of defense. So how does that impact his ability to hold up on both sides? And it takes one injury when you're playing that many snaps to sideline you. But even once you get past the top 2 of those, like on the D line, I can at least say, oh, well, Eric Armstead, it looks like a blip. Like he has a track record of greatness in his career. De'Ami Brown, while I believe in a guy who comes in, bets on himself, chip on his shoulder, thinks he can be great. I see with a vision of what Liam and Gladstone are going for. He hasn't done it. Now we can talk about the Washington quarterback situation, and he finally got a quarterback and finally had a good season. But De'Ami Brown, I mean, there's not production so far in his NFL career. And once you get past that, we're getting to the Parker Washingtons of the world, who's another guy who, I mean, flashes here or there, but I mean, was a late round draft.
So yeah, Parker Washington is a late round draft pick. You don't have anybody. You have maybe Eli Pankel. You're getting into the Josiah Cephas conversation at that point. After you get past Parker Washington, that's kind of what we're approaching. Eli Pankel, Cephas. We're talking practice squad players.
If you're 4 deep and that's when you start to flinch, that should tell you about something about the position. That's what I'll lead with.
Are we 4 deep and you start to flinch? Are you 4 deep?
He's saying we're too deep and we start to flinch.
You're about 2 deep and you're starting to flinch.
You're flinching at De'Ami, really? Okay.
I can have belief in him, but I'm willing to bet there's an army of Commanders fans that would tell me not to.
Ooh, so how about this? So we're basically trying to say that De'Ami Brown is Mason Smith. Like, they're very comparable in what you've seen versus what you believe they're going to be.
Mason, I can sell you on because he was a rookie with a stupid defensive coordinator who came on late in the season. Diami has gone through an entire rookie contract. He's a harder sell because there's more of a track record of not producing.
But if you're a guy whose specialty is to take the roof off the defense and your own line sucks, that works against you.
It does.
And I can even argue that Diami's arrow went up at the end of his season. Mason Smith's arrow went up at the end of his season.
Correct.
Yes, he had a bad coaching staff. So did Diami Brown earlier in his career, at least. I mean, if you want to say he lost the whole rookie contract. I mean, if Trevor Lawrence had Urban Meyer's whole first contract, we'd be having that exact same conversation, and nothing would have changed. You know what I mean? Like, materially speaking, nothing would have changed.
One of my favorite memories covering the Jags in person was having the conversation with Jamal about, come on, man, it's Urban Meyer, dude. Like, you're laughing because you remember.
I do.
So Washington finally starts using Diami Brown towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
And again, I watched every snap, or when they signed him from Washington, I watched every snap of his in the 2024 season, and I'm like, dang. Like he was running a lot of just clear outs earlier on, and Jaden Daniels just wouldn't go deep. Like that wasn't their aim at that point. It was a lot of the dig routes, a lot of the speed outs and things of that nature. And then only later in the season that they start trying to get Diami Brown more involved. So I'm not 100% sure how much of that I can blame on him versus that's just how the rookie kind of matured throughout the season.
That's perfect.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm completely different from all of you because apparently all you haters, like I had corner at 3. I'll be honest. Like the fact you guys sell out this quickly. Now, granted, I didn't account for the injury vulnerability of one Tyson Campbell, of course. But you're going to
how can you not?
Because it's hard to do rankings and just focus only on injury. But let's pretend he gets hurt. Oh, by the way, there's this guy. You might have heard of him. Hunter? Yeah. I have a feeling he plays a little less offense because Diami is there. They may not be able to do the fly zone package that I begged for. That's the reverse of the red zone, by the way, Jamal, for the record.
Are you saying that's your prediction, or are you saying that's what would happen if Tyson Campbell gets hurt?
That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, according to you, that's one and the same because it's inevitable that Tyson Campbell gets hurt. But if Tyson Campbell gets hurt, that's what happens, right? So, and this is why it's weird for me because I think Travis Hunter, his role, and I'll give credit where it's due. Shouts to our friend of the show, Locked On Jaguars, Tony Wiggins. You're not going to leave your best player on the sideline if you really need him. And if he happens to be the best corner, you're going to put him in. So it was hard for me to completely dismiss the corners, especially they brought in guys that are, and I'll grant, this was a group that under Caldwell was among the top turnover teams in the league. And I know there's been a lot of turnover since. Jarian Jones, I'm a believer. Listen, I'm not impacted by the fact that he's on the cover of the Madden video game for the wrong reasons, okay? That's about Saquon Barkley, and that's about New York dissing him and Saquon Barkley having his moment. And let's be honest, Jarian Jones did fundamentally what he's supposed to do in a tackle. Saquon Barkley this is like the guy who engineered the Death Star getting blamed for it getting blown up. It was a space. It was a hole that was barely the size of a womp rat, and a space wizard had to come in and blow it up. Okay, Jarian Jones did what he was supposed to do to make a tackle, and a space wizard jumped over him and made the Madden cover. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I believe in Jarian Jones. I'm a little surprised you don't, Travis. I believe in Tyson Campbell until he gets hurt, and I think Travis Hunter fills the job. And the guys they have, how many times have I heard that? What is it? Is it Buster Brown that's having a great camp? I don't know.
Brown,
the Montserrat guy.
We do this all when you say have a great camp. I want to throw my hat when I hear this because I'm the person that's in there tracking these plays. Jamal is there tracking these plays, and we could say until our face turns blue-black that these people are having great camps. Man, they had that wearing shorts and shirts, man. This is not even flag football because they ain't got flags on. We don't know until they got pads on, man. Like that's when the rubber hits the road.
The further from the inside, you get the truer to life shorts and shorts and t-shirts are.
I try my best not to hype up anything that happens in shorts and t-shirts. I try my absolute best.
That's it.
And
blocking matters on the outside if you're talking about receivers,
jamming, all of that. I understand.
One matters if you're a cornerback. And again, like we're talking about, Montero Brown has a great camp. But the best thing that he does is being the most physical corner at the line of scrimmage. Like he's not a passive press corner like maybe a Travis Hunter. Like he's a guy who just knows he can run with you, so he'll maybe give you a little softer of a jam of passive and just mirror you. Montero Brown is the guy that's trying to put you into the grave. Like he's trying to put you into the dirt in his jam technique, and it's a different type of guy. So we just haven't seen him in pass where you can actually legally hold a little bit and try to get in their pocket. Those types of things matter. That's kind of where I'm getting at when I say
so. A physical corner looks good in shorts when he can't use his advantage, and you're holding that against him.
I'm not holding it against him. I'm just promising myself I'm not going to take this thing to another level of over exaggerating what it is, because it's still shorts, man.
So again, he doesn't have his advantage, and he's still looking good. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. I'm there with you. He's doesn't have his advantage, and he still looks good, and that's all a good thing. I'm just not going to say Jaguars Super Bowl because
no one said that.
That's all.
I just had the corners as the third best group on the team. That doesn't mean I think the Jags are going to the Super Bowl. And hey, if you guys are to be believed just as validly as me, they're as far as the Super Bowl as it gets, apparently. But I digress.
It's a really wide range. And again, if Jamal's original prediction of, let's say, 70%, 60% snaps on the defensive backside comes to fruition for Travis Hunter, we're probably having a different conversation. And my ranking for the Jaguars cornerback group is at least going to probably drop to that 6 range. But because it's all guesstimation, we're all theorizing where this thing's going to land as far as the snaps, because we haven't seen it. And to be frank, nobody's seen it since the Iron Man days, if you really are talking about that kind of snap share. So we're all just taking our guesses, like, what could they reasonably do? What could they do? What do you think the doctors are going to say? How do you think Travis Hunter's mom is going to feel about this? Like, we don't know about any of this, bro. We just don't know. So we just guessing. That's it.
I ain't gonna front on either. Did we ever? We've been preaching. I shouldn't say we. I've been preaching so much. Did we ever get a 3 from you, Jamal? I forgot. I apologize.
No, yeah, we talked.
We talked about the wide receiver room.
Oh, for 3.
That's what he was saying. That was what his 3 was. It was the receiver room.
The reason why I had trouble remembering is because my number 2 spot is the wide receiver room. So again,
is it really?
I'm appalled.
Is
absolute
it really?
Disrespect.
Oh man.
Who do you guys have it too?
Timmy Devil.
At 2, I got D-line. at 2. I think we all got the same number 1.
All right, so then you guys had the wide receiver group at 3.
I had him at 2. You two have him at 3, apparently, and that's okay.
I don't have him. I don't have him at 3. I thought
that was at D-line.
That's my mistake. Then we had D-line at 3. I'm sorry.
Again, once again, appalled that you're only 1 spot different than me.
So then I think we all have the same group at 1, and I'm hoping that's the case.
Well,
don't spoil it. Yeah.
So I mean, we got to say 1 because it'd be a better conversation to have the 2 conversation, unless you want to just.
We'll say 1 and get it out of the way. I agree with it. Listen, I made the joke. Right. I'll never forget when we were going through team needs or the best players of the draft. I forget which episode it was. Check it out on the Duval Dive. Either way, they're fun. But I made a joke about the best offensive weapon that was out there for the Jags, and it was obvious that it was just an absolute nailed pick. And everyone thought I meant BTJ when the correct answer was exactly Cam Little. Absolutely special teams at 1. I mean, come on, Jamal. This is Pro Bowler at punter, franchise record breaker who's kicking. I think the long snapper even gets some
another Pro Bowler at long snapper. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Come on, y'all.
And you have a returning special teams coordinator.
What'd you say?
Yeah, you got a returning special teams coordinator also in Heath Farwell. So that's the same. And in my BigCatCountry.com article, ranking the best position groups in the AFC South, I had them as the best special teams core. in the AFC South across the board. They're only, I can't even say negative, but it wasn't the best in the conference in the division, was the kick returner and the punt returner conversation. Like that was the only thing that we don't really know what that's going to look like for 2025.
Maybe Travis does that too. Who knows? You know.
Okay, we got to let him catch his breath at some point, guys.
They're gonna run that man legs off in the rookie contract. Goodness.
Hold on. All right, we got 5 years. We got to stretch this out.
So that leaves us with the wide receiver group at number 2. So the second best position group of the Jacksonville Jaguars roster is the receiver group. Now, I actually, for a second, thought that some of it was going to put them at 1. So I'm happy to see we were in lockstep with the whole special teams punter. I mean, again, you don't have very many Pro Bowlers.
Shade at me, Travis D. Holmes. I see you.
I mean, as much as BTJ should have been a Pro Bowler, let's be clear. Like, you only get so many Pro Bowls on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you don't get there very much attention. So the fact that you had a lone snapper that's a Pro Bowler, a punter that's a Pro Bowler, and a kicker who likely will be a Pro Bowler if they win any amount of games this year. Yeah. All right. I'm here for it. But also, Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, you already mentioned earlier, Jamal, that you don't know what Travis Hunter's necessarily going to be, but you can probably guesstimate that he's going to be good as far as a receiver. And as long as the defensive backfield, the cornerback, mainly Tyson Campbell, stays healthy, then he's probably going to keep that snap share being in that 70 to 80% range on the offensive side of the ball. But you also made that fair point of De'Ami Brown. You don't know what that's going to be. I hope and I believe, based on just what I saw in the film, that if they give him the targets early on, like Washington didn't, then maybe that he could be a lot better, because he's showing us in camp, at least, not going crazy over it, but he at least is showing us an understanding of the offense, and he's the guy who's, for the most part, always in the right spot. That's something. But yeah, I mean, it gives you a little bit of confidence, but you're not wrong. I mean, I keep saying, like, what if it's somebody like on the cornerback room gets injured? What if somebody in the receiver room gets injured? To your original point, I mean, if BTJ has a soft tissue, something that keeps him out for a week or two.
Well, okay.
Knock on some wood. Just knock on it now. No.
Yeah.
Anybody?
I'm not wishing it. I'm just saying these things happen. This is football, man.
Right. Anybody other than him, I feel relatively confident, though. Yeah. Like if De'Ami, pulls up the hammy.
So if Travis goes down, you feel confident.
If Travis goes down, De'Ami, if you make the mistake of leaving him alone, you know who paid for it? The team that lost to him in the playoffs. Okay.
Okay. I don't have a judgment. I don't have an opinion on it. I'm just curious. I'm like, all right, cool.
I know you're not dissing me. You just like my retort, and I respect that, bro. It's okay.
So Jamal, you think the same? If BTJ goes down, it's obviously something different. But if Travis goes down, you think they're reasonably solid. Is that fair?
I think we haven't seen BT's best football yet. I think that Liam Cohen's going to be more willing to move him around and not just line him up in the same spot. I mean, we all talked about it when he came out of LSU. You saw those slot fades he ran for all them touchdowns with the Tigers. I'd be willing to bet we see it. They at least going to try a couple of them slot fades this year.
We saw the slot action he did this year. What do you have? Like 9 slot touchdowns anyway for a coach averse to putting him in position. I forget if 9 is the number, but
it was 7. It was 7. Yeah, it was 7, and it was leading the league, and he did it with like the 87th number of routes from the slot. Like it was some obscene number, and I'm like, dude, he did that with that.
Yeah,
goodness.
I knew if I had it wrong, you had my back, Travis. There you go.
Come on, man. We are on it. But so we have the Jacksonville Jaguars tight ends at 10, cornerbacks at 9, safeties at 7, O-line 7. Sorry, safeties at 8, O-line at 7, running backs 6, quarterbacks at 5, linebackers at 4, defensive line at 3. And wrapping this bad boy up with the wide receivers at 2, and Cam Little and the Pips, Cam Little and the special teams crew, being the best Jacksonville Jaguars position group. Wrapping up our rankings of the best Jacksonville Jaguars position groups. That's what you want. I mean, you kind of know. We already had the deep dive conversation talking about the fact that the Jaguars don't get very many Pro Bowl opportunities, and the fact that they had multiple in that special teams core. They had to get it, but the wide receiver core is, top of the list also.
So let me ask this question before we wrap, Travis. What was your biggest disparity? Because I had two big ones, and obviously my linebacker core at 10 compared to where was on the list 5.
The linebacker list, well, the linebacker was at 4.
So I have 2 that were off by 6 spots, and it's both the linebackers and the corners. And it's each in both of them are in the reverse direction. So what we're figuring out is Kyle doesn't know jack about defense, according to you and Jamal. But anyways,
interestingly, you guys actually let me slide with cornerback and safety both in the bottom the bottom 3. Well, I was shocked that didn't get way more pushback, but I'm happy to see that you were in general agreement.
Well, I had safety
more of an argument from it.
I had safety in the bottom 3 myself. I had them at 8. So how can I hate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I more of an argument from it. That's all.
Jamal, what was your
D-line being top 3 was a shocker to me. I ain't gonna lie to you.
D-line? I was surprised y'all were higher on the O-line than me. I had the O-line down. That was probably my biggest disparity, Kyle. I had the O-line at 9.
Listen, I have dealt with your disrespect. We don't need to bring it back up. It's okay. Well, and again, I make that joke, but I only had them 2 spots higher than you with safety at 8. So it's again, nobody has as big a swing on this panel with 2 spots, 6 spots different. I don't think. No, I'm just
and I also thought you guys were going to have a quarterback higher also. I mean, I know he ended at 5, but I wouldn't have been shocked if you guys would have put him in the top 3.
Because Trevor is Trevor.
That's Trevor, and he's a lightning bolt character when you're talking about him. I mean, he's not Tim Tebow, but he's definitely protective in this Duval County fan base. So, I could have seen it.
Is it that he's protected by the Duval, or is it that the national group are a bunch of haters? That's kind of what I found to be more true.
So that's got to be a podcast we got to have a conversation about, and I hope to put it on the calendar talking about is Trevor Lawrence underrated or is CJ Stroud overrated? Because they are talking about them significantly different and they are very similar. Spicy. And we got to talk about it.
Spicy.
You talking about some heat now.
See, I think Jamal's going to watch that show. I know that.
We'll be in the chat box for that one. Come on now.
Oh, man.
Well, while we're here, let me shout out these guys who have been super active in the comments, but they're also super active in the chats and the YouTube. Hey man, Community Spotlight, Timmy Devil, Dub Season, Radius, Duval Paul, Nasir Premier, Cedric Green, Hef, and touring the AFC South, Mike Patton. You guys are the GOAT, man. Yeah, the general. You guys have been showing up and showing out in the YouTube chats, no matter if it's live, no matter if it's on the replay or video on demand. We appreciate you guys. Radius was the first one to comment today. He's in a different time zone, so he said it was midnight where he was, and he's still going to make sure to watch the replay, watch the video on replay. Yes, it may be Europe, and I think I was on his side of the road when we were over there. And I'm mad I didn't know it was Europe, but no, that's. Yeah, so overall, man, we appreciate you guys. Keep it locked in. These podcasts only go as long as they go because you guys give us content to talk about.
Correct.
And most of the time, you guys in your arguments tell us what we want to talk about the next week. We're like, oh, that's what they're talking about now? Oh, let's go then. So, again, lock it in, subscribe for those of you who are not, and maybe you'll be on this bad boy next week or the week after, but we appreciate you guys.
And speaking of giving the people what they want, what better way to do so than to have on the great Jamal St. Cyr. Jamal, tell the world where you can be found, my friend.
I'm on social at JSTCYR TV. You can track me down there or just over on newsforjacks.com. We're always cranking out stuff. Training camp right around the corner, so we'll be rolling out the shows Monday and Friday nights over on News for Jacks.
I know I'm going to check that out. But that's also while checking out my man, my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes. Tell him.
I can be found on all the socials, Travis D. Holmes. You can find my writing covering the Jaguars, most importantly, at bigcatcountry.com. As we already talked about, we have the ranking the most dangerous position groups article in the AFC South that just dropped earlier this afternoon. So check that out. Please feel free to argue with your friends and family about it and just share that too. So they can come to their own bad conclusions and just keep commenting, keep that thing going. But Travis D. Holmes, all the socials, bigcatcountry.com. We will keep you guys informed of everything that's happening at upcoming training camp and any pressers that come about. But yeah, we got you guys, bro. Where can you be found, Nash?
Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You'd find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings with the Fans First Sports Network, covering your Jacksonville Jaguars and the Orlando Magic. I mentioned something about Josh Hines Allen's appearance on Speak. Some very interesting stuff he brought up there.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't make it a point to listen to those shows, but he did say some interesting things. I'll give him credit on that. Make sure you check that out, Fans First Sports Network. And of course, my work covering the black and gold banneret, including UCF football, basketball, and all things UCF as well. My guy, Bryson Turner, dropping the Bannies. That's right, the Black and Gold Banneret Awards for the 24-25 athletic year. Make sure you check that out, blackandgoldbanneret.com or Night Shift podcast and YouTube channel as well. So, for Jamal St. Cyr, News 4 Jax, and my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes. Until next time, everyone, class, dismissed.